Hey guys, welcome back to Objective Reviews. Now today we're going to be taking a look at my new monitor, and if you're wondering why I have been doing a lot of these hardware reviews suddenly, well, that's because I'm moving into a new place and I have a lot more space there compared to where I am right now, so I have a lot of flexibility to play around with more hardware, different hardware. So a week ago I got the shipment of my monitor from my favorite local vendor, and I got unboxing it, and well, things took a turn for the unexpected. What I was hoping is I set it up, make an unboxing video and a video for setting things up, but things did not go as planned. Also, while I was setting it up, this is what happened. Which I am guessing is the reason why this happened. Yep, so I either broke the panel while unboxing it because of the static shock, or the panel was already defective, and well, I had to send it back to LG and wait for a week, actually 4 working days, so that's pretty decent, I'd say. And when I got the new panel, the very first thing I did was unbox it without even setting up the stand. Just plug it in and make sure it does not have that flickering issue or the horrible pixel dots that were appearing all over the screen. I have a separate video recorded, a very short one. If you're interested in checking it out, I'm going to leave a link to it down in the description. It's on my personal channel. There's not a lot of stuff out there, but I digress. So let's get back to the main topic. Well, the LG 27UD68P. Okay, let me just start off by saying that this monitor is beautiful. LG has just nailed the aesthetics for their displays, be it a television set or a monitor. The bezels on this monitor are absolutely thin. That gives you almost the feeling of having an edge-to-edge display. They could have gone full edge, not sure why they didn't. There's also a black version of this monitor available with black edges and black rims and everything. I personally preferred the silver one for, well, I don't have a reason for that, but that's the one that was available readily, so I just got it. On the back of the monitor you have 2 HDMI inputs, a DisplayPort input, a audio output, and the DC 12 volt power input. Now note that the HDMI inputs on this monitor are HDMI 2.0, so if you want the full 3840x2160 4K experience, your GPU output or the output from your motherboard has to support that resolution and be at least HDMI 1.4. If you have a DisplayPort 1.2 connector, you can use that directly as well without worrying about all the HDMI specs and the compatibility bit. But your DisplayPort has to also be DisplayPort 1.2, and you have to separately enable that from the on-screen menu of the monitor. Now some of you may be wondering that I have an NVIDIA GPU, the 970 Strix from ASUS, and the monitor supports FreeSync. So how does that work? Well, it doesn't work, it just stays off. But if you are planning to use this monitor with one of Apple's MacBooks or iMacs that is equipped with an AMD GPU, well, the FreeSync is going to be working as well in your favor. And yes, let's get on to the OS X part. Well, the experience is absolutely plug and play, just like LG states on their website, so that's pretty cool. Because I did have problems with some of their previous displays where I had to use SwitchResX and do a bit of tinkering to actually get them working, but this one, well, plug and play. On the back of the monitor you also have the 100x100 racer mount, so you can swap out the existing stand with the dual monitor stand if that's something you're going for. But if not, the stand that comes with it is very solid, very sturdy, supports height adjustment, tilt adjustment, and rotation. Now I unfortunately forgot to record the rotation bit, but you get the idea. Now this monitor has a motion sensor, so when you rotate the device, it's going to tell the OS that you have rotated the monitor, so it's going to set the resolution to portrait mode. Now because this monitor works plug and play with Mac OS, I'm on Sierra, so your mileage may vary. What you do get is something very interesting. You get the full Retina mode and the scale resolutions that come with it. So by default, it's going to start off at 1920 by 1080 in Retina mode. That's 1920 by 1080 times 2, which gives you 3840 by 2160. Now that's cool, and you can change down the resolutions all the way from some very weird ones to 2560 by 1440, all the way down to the full 4K resolution. So it depends on what applications you're using. That's how I have set this up to use. So if I'm working in something like Final Cut Pro, Photoshop, Sketch, I'm going to be using the higher resolutions. If I'm working in code or maybe reading something on a website or stuff like that, I would switch to the 1920 by 1080 because the text looks absolutely crisp, and I really love that. So if you're wondering what happened to my older 1440p monitor, well, it's not going anywhere. It's going to be sitting next to this one, and I'm going to be using it for watching YouTube videos now in 1440p, logging all my stuff when I'm writing code and debugging, and just the other casual stuff like messaging and team working, etc. etc. Now the color reproduction on this monitor is absolutely spectacular. LG claims to support 99% sRGB, 100% Adobe RGB, and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, there is no DCI-P3 support on this one. You'll have to go for the higher priced ultrafine displays that LG announced in partnership with Apple, or however that works. I think MKBHD has a video on the new 5K one, so if you're looking for one of those, go check out his video. Coming back to the color reproduction, well, the blacks are super black and the whites are super white, and the dynamic range seems to be very good. The overall color reproduction is stellar. One issue that I run into every single time I launch Photoshop and try to do something, well, it just freaks out. Maybe that's a bug, and this is the 2017 version, so I'm still not sure why 3 or 4 years later of having Retina screens on Macs, Adobe's applications still seem to freeze and crash and give weird GPU buffer artifacts on the screen. It's just a full mess. But if I use something like Sketch, well, that works absolutely fine. Well, my closing thoughts on this monitor. The color reproduction is absolutely good. The mount is brilliant. The display itself is brilliant. The build quality is brilliant. Although I do dislike the glossy plastic finish that's on the back, which just catches a lot of dust. Some people have seemed to complain about the matte finishing done on the monitor, but from what I've seen and experienced over a week's time, not a lot of problems out there. So where can you buy this? Well, of course, check your local stores. But if you want to help me out and you're interested in buying this monitor, I'm going to leave the Amazon link for this monitor down in the description and on the screen as a card coming up in a bit. Well, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you disliked it, you know what to do. And if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Cheers.